Hey y'all, today we're learning about congruent and similar figures. So, vocabulary alert. Congruent figures means they are the same size and same shape. Now, similar figures means they're the same shape, but they have proportional sizes. And I'll show you what that means later, but for right now, we will start with congruence. So congruent figures have corresponding parts, angles, and sides that are also congruent, which means equal. There are a few ways that we can prove figures to be congruent, but we'll focus right now on simply identifying them as being congruent, and also identifying their corresponding matching parts. So, first of all, there's this new symbol. It's an equal sign with a little squiggle on top. That's the symbol for congruence. So this is saying that triangle ABC is congruent with triangle PQR. So if we come over here, angle A, if we come over here, angle A is congruent with angle P. Angle B is congruent with angle Q because they both form right angles. And then angle C is congruent with angle R. So let's try this with these shapes down here. We've got shape ABCD is congruent to shape RSTU. So it's asking us, if we've got angle A, what is angle A congruent with? So angle A would be congruent with angle R. If you don't remember that little L looking thing, that means angle. Angle C would be congruent with angle T. And angle D would be congruent with angle U. So it's important to make sure we're paying attention to what we're given so that we can compare the two, especially when we're not given any actual numbers. Because if you notice, they took ABCD and they turned it to get angle RSTU. All right, side AB, which is right here, is congruent to side RS. So we write RS and leave a line over it because we got AB, RS. Sine DA is going to be congruent to side UR. And sine ST is going to be congruent to side BC. So what I'm really doing is I'm looking at these four letters and I'm considering their order. So if I've got U to R, it's D to A. If I've got S to T, that's B to C. All right. Remember, if these corresponding parts are congruent, that means they have the exact same measurements. So if it's asking us for side JN, we are looking I would have said side NJ. We're looking for side EA or AE. So if this side is 22 feet, so is JN. Don't forget your units. DC, or CD, would be the same as LM. So LM is 17, so DC is 17 feet. KL is right here, KL, so BC, which is 12 feet. Angle D is congruent to angle M, and angle M is 158 degrees. Angle K is congruent to angle B, which is 135 degrees. So I'm comparing really the names to make sure that, okay, I know B is in the same spot as K, so K and B are congruent or equal. Let's look at how we decide similar figures. So we talked about similar figures have corresponding angles that are congruent, but their corresponding sides are not the same. They are proportional. So this is telling us that triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. So we're going to create basically a proportion or fractions comparing the sides. So over here, they put side AB over side DE and found that that is 10 over 15, which gave them 2/3 when they simplified. They then put BC over EF and got 8 over 12, which again simplified to 2/3. So the way that we recognize that they are similar is we create fractions and make sure they all give us the same ratio. So if we come down here, we're going to decide if the figures are similar, which means that we're checking, are all of the pairs of angles congruent? Are all the sides proportional? And if they are, we need to write a similarity statement like they did above, where they wrote triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. So I want to do 2 with you, and then I'm going to let you try and then check your work. So I'm going to do A and C with you, and then I want to check, let you give your best shot on B and D. So we've got triangle ABC and DEF. So if I look, I'm seeing the same markings, meaning that my angles are all congruent. And so that is so far on the right track. Now we need to create our actual ratios. So I'm going to do AB to DE. So that is 8 over 7. I'm going to do BC to EF, which would be 6 over 5. And FD to CA, CA to FD, which would be 12 over 11. So if I simplify those, and you've got a calculator, I need to make sure it's the same. They're all equivalent. So 8 divided by 7 is a 1.14. 6 divided by 5, 1.2. 12 divided by 11. Ooh, that didn't go in right. 12 divided by 11, 1.09. So if I'm looking at these, they are not similar. They have congruent angles, but they're not similar. So I'm just going to write, I'm going to put like a little no. Okay. The other reason I can tell this is because we're not coming up with any way we can simplify these. So let's look down at these trapezoids. So we've got trapezoid ABCD to GH. I think that's an I. We'll go with I. GHIJ. And so I'm checking to make sure they have the same markings. We got 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2. Okay, so the angles are the same. Now let's create our ratios. So I'm going to actually go smaller to larger this time. So GH to AB, so that would be 8 over 12. And I'm going to do HI, which is 4 to 6, BC. IJ, which is 10 to 15. And JG, 6 to 9. So if I'm looking at these, I can divide both 8 and 12 by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4 is 3. I can divide both top and bottom by 2, so 2 to 3. 10 to 15, divide by 5. 2 to 3. And 6 to 9, I can divide both by 3 to get 2 to 3. So when I simplified all of my ratios, all of my fractions, I came out with 2/3, 2/3, 2/3, 2/3. So that means they are similar. So I'm going to say A, B, C, D, squiggle, is similar to G, H, I, J. That's my similarity statement. All right, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and pause this. Give it your best shot on B and D, and then I will walk you through that process just so you can check your own work. So pause now. Okay, hopefully you paused and now you're back to check your work. So if I'm looking at part B, first of all, I've got two triangles. I see two right angles, and they did mark these as congruent, which means that these have to be. So if I'm going to set up my ratios, I got A to X and N to M. So I'm going to do, that looks like 9/6. And then we got 12/8 and 15/10. I can divide these by 3, and I get 3/2. I can divide these by 4, and I get 3/2. I can divide these by 5, and I get 3/2. So they're all similar, which means that I do have to write a similarity statement. So I've got triangle AXR is similar to triangle NMT. Now you might be wondering, Mrs. Coyle, what if I wrote it in a different order? Well, the order is important. So if I start at the right angle and I go AXR, I need to make sure that I'm starting at the right angle here too and going NMT. All right, let's go down to D. D is two rectangles. So they mark all four with right sides, so our angles are congruent. Now let's actually write our ratios. We really actually only have to do 2 for this because we can tell that these are the same and these are the same. So I'm going to have 4 to 12 and 6 to 24. I can divide both 4 and 12 by 4, which gives me 1/3. And I can divide 6 and 24 by 6, which is 1/4. So these are not the same, which means they are not congruent. So I'm going to put a little no next to D. All right. I think y'all got this. Go ahead and you can close this out. Proud of you for sticking with it and keep on going. We're almost to the end of the year, guys. Bye.